Good evening, ESBR Boxing. Elliot here, and I am going to take you, dear viewer, through a topic. One topic only. It's going to be me essentially communing with you straight through this portal here, I suppose that we call bidirectional digital media. But anyway, we're going to get straight into it, and that really is the question of this evening. Anthony Yarde versus Artur Beterbiev was stopped in the eighth round. Yarde had gone down, overhand right. Sustained a bit of punishment. Obviously, had his he'd been hit hard several times, numerous times. Probably be more an accurate way of describing it. His eye had swollen up. His right eye beneath the eye and also above it was looking like it was closing, and was looking like the end was near. What I'm going to say and what I'm going to put out there as an initial question before I offer my thoughts on it as well is this: was the stoppage premature? Now, Yard, as I said, Yard went down. He got up. I think he stood up. He chose to stand up at 9. Made his way back to the corner, which would happen to be his own corner. It looked like he was looking into the corner at the time, as though I don't know whether it was just like I'm speculating here, whether he was sort of communicating with Tunde on whether you're going to stop it, whether there's some prearranged agreement, or whether it was simply a case of he could notice some movement and wonder what was happening. But as the ref turned around, touched his gloves, beckoned him to sort of towards the ring again. Tunde was on the apron. I didn't actually see the towel come in, but Tunde was on the apron, sort of waving it off, and from there the fight stopped. I've heard and I've seen mixed reaction to this. So obviously, some people are saying it was early, it was premature. That essentially having sort of made it up and not well. I say looking compos mentis. I mean, he looked like he could have essentially carried on and then been stopped in about 30, 40 seconds after that. Well, probably less than that, to be perfectly honest. But no, it looked like he could have made it out, only to be stopped moments later, which you see obviously week in, week out in boxing matches. So there's some people obviously that I don't want to cast aspersions. Not sure if there's any boxers involved. Not sure if they're ex-fighters. I'm not sure, the fighting experience that they have. Any 12 rounders under the belt, any white collars, whatever. But I've seen some people on one end of the continuum saying, this is boxing, warriors, etc. Go out on your shield. Other people on the other end of the continuum saying fantastic stoppage from Tunde. Beterbiev, as 18 stoppages and 18 fights coming into this one, would have obviously would have finished the job. Why let his man take unnecessary punishment? So a bit about Tunde obviously as well was criticised heavily after Anthony Yarde's loss to Sergei Kovalev, where there was a screaming of "empty the tank," which has become famous meme, a famous kind of I suppose statement, idiom of fun around the boxing world. Took a lot of criticism after that fight for his tactics. There were suggestions, loud and vocal and vehement suggestions within the boxing community that Yard should leave Tunde and essentially train elsewhere. He hasn't done. Came into this fight, Beterbiev got the tactics surprisingly. I was going to say spot on because obviously he lost, but it was a good tactical plan. Yard equipped himself substantially better. Sorry, than many people gave him credit for or expected going into the fight. So yeah, I suppose the question for you guys is: was it premature? Was it not premature? I suppose I'm going to say here, leave in the comments your answers. Feel free to submit any kind of opinion on this subject as you see fit. Before I sign off here, going to share with you mine, just so that you can I suppose bounce off and either say I'm talking tarkin rubbish, or if I'm speaking sense, or where on that continuum between we as warrior code, we go out and we want to fight another day, etc. Now I probably sit. These are the edges of the continuum. I probably sit closer to this side, to be perfectly honest. I think it's a lot of kind of macho nonsense on the Shield, frankly, to a certain degree. Like in certain instances, obviously, if it's a close fight, you've got a chance to win. By all means, carry on fighting. You feel like you can fight. If there's some sort of prearranged agreement, that's also possibly a little bit strange, considering you don't know how the fight's gonna play out. But equally, when you're fighting someone with that KO percentage, with that power, and with the injury to the eye you've already sustained, and you've just gone down, frankly, with enough time left in the round for you to be, I suppose, more conclusively and categorically stopped. I don't actually see a problem with it, frankly. I don't see a problem with him potentially keeping some miles on Anthony Yarde's clock for a future day. rather than, I mean, I don't know what we necessarily get out of it as fans and or even as kind of part of the culture fighters themselves. What would we get out of it from just seeing Anthony Yarde sort of splayed on the ring apron? Um, having already essentially surrendered in that round. So I'm more over to this side of the continuum, but obviously I know that there'll be some characters that are on the other side. So yeah, feel free to ping in your opinions there and let me know where you sit. But just as a final comment, I suppose this is more of a footnote, really. There are those of you that might, especially those of you acute of hearing, might have believed that you heard some dogs barking in the background. Those aren't dogs. Those are, in fact, lions in the camp. So I'm going to leave that with you there. And yeah, let me know. ESBR Boxing, we've got some content following from the event there with Yarde and Beterbiev as well. Our man Elliot Stott is still there, still in the arena, still gathering interviews, reaction, and we'll be bringing that to you guys shortly. I've done another video, obviously a kind of reaction video, but it was more based on performance, both performances. The judges I talked about, essentially there was an intro about both fighters and what comes next, but this was a very specific. Was the fight stopped prematurely, or was the fight not stopped prematurely? And I am saying it was not stopped prematurely, although it was a little bit confusing in whether Anthony Yarde had some sort of prearranged look over the corner or whether it was purely organic. That's where I stand on it, guys. Keep watching, keep following. Let me know what you think. Positive, negative. Try and avoid abusive. But there we go. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon. Take it easy.